Music's greatest songs worth covering. Original classic hitmakers.
Now, this is one of those moments where you're going to have to forgive the slight slide guitar version of the song that you're hearing in the background right now, because finding versions, instrumental versions of some of these really, really old songs, and we're going back to like 1943. So because of that, it's really hard, and you get these kind of odd karaoke versions. But this is the song that I'm talking about. It'll just sound much better when I play you the real song in a few minutes. I'm talking about an artist called Cilla Black, very, very big in the UK, but also the thing that is intriguing about the story is that a lot of her life story didn't really come out till after her death. We lost her in 2015 on the 1st of August. She actually fell at her villa. I think she was about 72. But she had a husband called Bobby. Bobby loved her more than life. And the actual story of Cilla and how it all happened is so amazing. I knew the story, but then I watched the most incredible 3-part kind of series about her over the weekend, and I would honestly recommend it. We were so gripped. We sat and watched all these 3 chunky parts. It was almost like three films, because they were an hour long. It was so good. So let me tell you the story of Priscilla Maria Veronica White, born in Liverpool in 1943. And they were not a wealthy family. It was proper sort of Irish relatives, grandparents and everything all come from Ireland. And a lot of Liverpool had at that point, because that was where the boats came in. So you could get from Liverpool to Ireland on the crossing there really quickly. So a lot of Liverpools in Ireland, a lot of Irish in Liverpool. That's how it goes. So there's Cilla. There's a very famous club that the Beatles have made famous that you can still go to. It's called the Cavern in Liverpool. And this is where all this young, fresh, raw talent was found, early 60s. So going back to 1963, Cilla's a singer. There are 4 guys who are super good. Everyone goes to see them at various clubs in Liverpool. And they were called the Beatles. And then Brian Epstein, very famous manager, walked into the club, signed the Beatles, but then the Beatles were going, you need to see Cilla, you got to sign Cilla. Now at the time, he was looking to find a female to sign, and he had another girl on his mind, and the Beatles got Cilla an audition. So Brian went in to where Cilla would be playing with them, and they actually, they would the backing. They introduced her, on she came, and she said, but it all went wrong. The reason it went wrong was because she said the Beatles played the song in the key that was right for them, and she hadn't discussed it with them. When she got on stage, her voice couldn't handle the key that they played the song in. As a result, she said it was absolutely atrocious. She battled on and did the whole song, but Brian Epstein left and just went, no, this girl is nothing. So she lost her first audition. She ended up then being the coat girl, working, taking people's coats and waitressing to try and, keep herself alive.
This was when? 1940?
1960. So she's born in 1940, but this was probably 1960.
So see, again, the evolution of how even music is discovered. Back then, and even like just 20 years ago or so, until 20, 30 years ago, it was like somebody need to be there.
Yeah.
To check you out.
Yeah.
You needed somebody.
Yeah.
And that's why I interjected now, you put it on SoundCloud, you're done. Free, you don't have to pay anything. SoundCloud free, you put it there, YouTube, done, here's it, they call you, they sign you, done. No physical human need to be there to see the audition and
see
witness in action.
Yeah,
none of that,
right, you're right.
So yeah, like people like, the artists that you're talking about and others, and in that period, the amount of struggle they had to go through. And that one chance led her to, she lost that chance, but then she came back. It's a lot of dedication. Yeah. And it tested artists, I believe. Right now, it's easy. Like I think
she
you
had
make
a whole
TikTok
year.
video, fam, that blows up. Seriously.
And you're good. Yeah.
My song, I released a song. TikTok has reached out to me. And they said, yo, we want to push this song. It's a dope song.
That's
I'm
good.
like, I don't think it needs to be pushed, but okay, thank you so much. And if this song gets viral, then it's crazy. I didn't do anything for this song to be viral.
No, but there are all going to be moments like that in life where you suddenly get plucked out of obscurity and someone goes, this is incredible. But certainly you're right about needing someone to come and see you, needing to get in front of these people. But that was Brian's job, to go round to the venues who had live music and to find new talent. And there was loads of it in Liverpool at the time. This is what was going on. The thing that was really distinctive about Cilla is that when she walked on stage, she always liked to talk to the audience first, and she was kind of gobby and cute and funny, and the audience massively related. And I think that was one of the reasons why he picked her, as well as the fact that she had the most incredible voice. So there she is. She's just completely destroyed one of the biggest opportunities ever. The Beatles are releasing all sorts of music, and John Lennon went back to Brian and went, "You've got to come and hear her sing again. That wasn't right. Come and hear. Excuse me. Come and see her again." And he did. But he didn't tell her. So she had no idea that he was in the audience. And of course, he stood there just watching her hold the crowd. They absolutely loved her. The whole place was packed. And of course, he signed her. She then went on to have this massive, massive career. And this song was one of the biggest. And the song itself has its own story, because she didn't have, a great time in terms of recording. And
Tweet us, Pulse Radio.
You can tweet me.
My bad, we're definitely talking about tweeting, but it's all good. You definitely tweet us, Pulse 95 Radio. Sneaks up on me like that.
Do you know what? Both of us jumped.
Yeah.
Both of us jumped out of our skin. What
See, that's what happens if you leave your life in a machine. But okay.
Agreed. I'm with you. Yeah. Thank goodness you're manning those buttons over there. So, there she is. She's in Liverpool. It's 1963. She's had one number one already. And she was so excited to get this number one. Her first song, actually, which was Up-Tempo, was a flop. It went into the charts at number 35 and she was destroyed. And Brian turned around and went, "I'm going to give you a ballad." And she released a song called Anyone Who Has a Heart. Brilliant song. It had been recorded by Dionne Warwick previously. And they said, "Right, now you're going to do the English version." And she did. And it was an absolute winner, even though she didn't want to do a ballad initially. Then they gave her this one, You're My World. Now, the thing about this is actually an Italian song.
Okay.
Il Mio Mondo.
Nice.
And it's by Umberto Bindi. I think that's how you say it. That's the Italian version. And what they did was they got a guy called Carl Sigman in, and he completely revamped the song and made it very, very English. And this is where the English version comes in. Cilla sung it, and they tried to keep the haunting sound. You'll understand when you hear the song, it is very haunting. There are violins in it that can make you cry for days.
Wow.
And the actual recording, watching her sing this with the orchestra, because that's how they recorded it at the time as well. There was a 20-piece orchestra in this huge live room, and she's in the booth. And so every time she did it wrong or someone else did it wrong, everyone stops. It was old school, and it was amazing to watch. But she talks about how difficult the song was to sing, but how beautiful it was to sing. And then this became number one in Australia, Denmark, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Canada, Ireland, South Africa, like massive global hit. And the amount of songs, the amount of vinyl she sold, it was something like 800,000. Wow. That's when you're selling vinyl, that is just unbelievable. This is also the biggest selling record by a female artist in the 60s ever, not been beaten. I suppose it won't be because the 60s are over, but she is, that's what a complete runaway success this song was. So she put herself on the map, and then for the next 10 years had another load of top 10s and did very, very well. Ended up going into TV. And she married her manager, Bobby, who absolutely adored her. And the one last piece of the story that I'll tell you now, which was found out when we lost her in August. It was a big thing in the UK. August 2015, Cilla Black died. And one of the things that came out was that Brian Epstein, in the backing vocals on this song, her husband, Bobby, sang. Okay, so he's in there doing it. She wasn't happy about that. Brian Epstein, 2 years into Cilla's career, said, listen, went to Bobby and said, you've got a great voice and you look really right for the now. You're super quirky. We want you to release a song. We want to sign you up. And he went to Cilla and went, big news. They want to sign me. And she went, no, absolutely no way. I am the star of the family, and I am already having to wait in line behind the Beatles every time someone wants to do something because I'm a girl and I'm not waiting behind you. She said, absolutely not. And he turned the opportunity down. And he spent the rest of his life being her manager and driving her to gigs. And he absolutely adored her. Apparently she was his complete world. And this song, just so that you know, when she did die, her fans stood outside at her funeral and broke into this song completely spontaneously with no music, and they all sang it as she arrived. I mean, just remarkable. She had a remarkable impact on the music scene and Liverpool as a place. So now I want you to listen to this song and understand that this completely forged a career and a human and a person, and made her an iconic star all over the world. It's Cilla Black with You're My World. Listen to that. It's amazing. This orchestra is incredible. Enjoy it. It's the Music Greats on Yalla Home.
If you liked this episode of Yalla Home, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.